Today we're jumping in showing you how to customize your new Sony A7V, your function menu, as well as your buttons on here for photography specifically. So not for video, we're gonna keep it very simple here, and let's dive right in. First, showing you how to do that, we're gonna hit menu right up here, and then we're gonna go down to setup at the bottom, over to operation customize, and then from there we get to choose what we're gonna do here. So let's first start with our function menu settings. We can do both. Right here showing you on the bottom, these are your video settings. On the top is photography or your stills mode. So again, we're gonna just stick to photography stuff here today because that's primarily what I'm shooting all the time. So what you can do is, these are your options, and if you wanna change them, you just hit the go button, I guess, and then you can pick between all of the different options in your menu, and then you can press it again to confirm that. I'm gonna press menu to go backwards here, right out of our menu, and then I'm gonna show you my function buttons. So you may or may not want some of these or all of these if you are a photographer like me. This is my setup and I find it really convenient and easy. Yeah, so function menu is designed to have quick access to the settings that you use most often. So when you hit that button, you're gonna have a little row come up with 12 options. And for me, what I've done is got my drive mode first and foremost, and that's gonna be your shooting speed basically. So how fast is your camera gonna shoot? You can go in there, and then if you wanna set a timer or adjust your max shooting speed, you can do that. Single shooting, all that jazz, you can do that right there. So right to the right of that, we've got our metering mode, and this is basically how it's going to expose the image. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the settings in this video, but just showing you what I have for easy access. Next, we've got steady shot on and off, and if you want to change basically your active, your dynamic, turn it off, you can do that right there really quickly. Next, we've got our recognition target. So we can go in and basically see what we want to have to be able to switch to. We've got auto, which actually does a decent job. It doesn't always nail it. So if you're just shooting birds, for example, maybe go down to the bird setting. But we do have human, animal / bird, animal, bird, insect, car and train, and airplane. So if you aren't gonna be shooting those and you know that, maybe just take them off there so it doesn't confuse it if worst case scenario happens. So that's on my function menu there. Next, we've got pre-capture on and off. I do have a redundancy for this one, but that's definitely going to be huge if you're a wildlife shooter or a sports shooter. You want to have access to pre-capture, because if you don't, if you have it on all the time, you are going to fill up your memory card very quickly, depending on your settings. So I will have a pre-capture video dedicated so you can master that, which is just an incredible tool. But having the option to turn it on and off at your fingertips is really important for me. Next over here, we've got silent mode in case you are shooting inside, indoors, at a wedding, whatever. Having that rate easily accessible is key. Down to our bottom left here, we've got our focus mode. This is where you're gonna change to continuous focus, automatic, single AF, all that kind of stuff, direct manual focus, and I'll show you a little secret here. If you didn't know, the A7V actually has a full-time direct manual focus option in the camera. And down here in automatic manual focus, you're gonna go over here into AF/MF, and then down here at the bottom, you've got full-time DMF, which is just fantastic. So hit that on, and then you're gonna be able to bypass your autofocus, and if your camera does miss, you can use manual focus in real time to nail your subject. Back to our function menu here. Next, we've got our focus area. Really important to have this accessible, and this is gonna let you choose your, well, focus area, where you actually are focusing, and that's really important depending on which subject you are shooting. So definitely have that accessible when needed. Next up, we've got our white balance, easily changed between auto and daylight and all that stuff depending on where you are shooting. Auto does a good job, and if you're a photographer, if you ask me, you should always be shooting in RAW anyways, so you can adjust your white balance in post. Next up is our subject recognition and autofocus. This is if you want to have the camera actually recognizing subjects. And that can be important because it can get confused depending on what you're shooting. Sometimes you don't want to have that. If you're just shooting a single thing and you don't want the camera taking over, just shoot that off. Next up, we've got our grid lines, and this is really nice just for composition if you wanted to throw that on. There are some different options. So you can have kind of an idea of framing and just ease of use when it comes to kind of lining up the shot. And finally, over here, we've got our shutter type. You can quickly go from mechanical to electronic. So if you're shooting indoors or if you have sketchy lights, you definitely want to be able to make sure that is easily accessible as well. Again, the electronic shutter, you're going to be able to take advantage of the fastest 30 frames per second shooting speed, where mechanical is definitely more limited. So that wraps up our function menu. Those are the things that I recommend you have accessible in the menu. And now let's look at some of the things that I have set up for our custom buttons here all over the place. First, we've got our C3 button here up in the corner. For me, I have this set to target recognition or recognition target for our autofocus. You can pan through between the ones you want. I don't have them all set up here. I got rid of train, I got rid of planes and stuff like that. So auto does a decent job, but if you want to switch between a person and a bird, or it's having trouble, you want to have that right easily accessible on your left hand there. Next, over here in C1, that's going to be my Super 35 mode, so my crop mode. I use that, and I find that, especially for birds, if it's not really nailing the eye autofocus, sometimes by just kind of going in a little bit, it kind of captures it and maybe makes it a little bit easier to isolate the target. If you are shooting in 35 mode, just keep that in mind. Little kind of things to consider, but you are losing megapixels when you do go into that mode. So again, if you choose not to use that, you can also just crop and post for the same effect. Next up is our AF on button here. When I hit that, I can change between my electronic and mechanical shutter. I have that and I use that quite a bit depending on what I'm shooting. So definitely want to have that accessible as well. And over here in the corner, we've got the AEL button. I have this actually set to pre-capture on and off, and I use this a lot. If you don't have this accessible, you're going to be filling up that memory card, like I said, a lot faster than you should be. Only use pre-capture when you really know you're going to need it. Otherwise, turn it off and save a ton of space on your cards. You can actually edit your pre-capture settings here in shooting. Go down to drive mode and then pre-capture settings. Here, if you do not need the entire 1 second, you can actually turn that down. Now for birds and stuff, especially when you're shooting very fast moving birds, sometimes, half a second might do it. If you're shooting the fastest thing ever, you might want to, bump that up to a second. So depending on how much and how many shots you're not using, when you go back and post and see that, hey, it's really, I'm having shots here that I don't need, then turn that down. But it's better to be safe than sorry. If you have the space, I think, keep that thing so you're not missing the shots that you really want. Just something to consider there. Finally, we have our 3 dials here, and these are probably the most important and most used in photography. Now, I'm going to show you how to adjust those here in the menu. Just like the other ones, we're going to go down to Operation Customize in Setup, and then we're going to go down to Custom Key / Dial Set. And again, this is also how we do our buttons. If I didn't mention that, we're just going to go down until, in this case, we see our dial / wheel. And I'm going to show you which one is which. So in the very front here, my first dial, number 1, I have set to aperture. That is how I really change aperture quickly on the fly. Second here is our number 2 here, right here. I have this little guy set to ISO. Changing ISO on the fly is really important if you don't shoot on auto. If you do shoot on auto, that might not be as big of a concern for you. I do have some redundancy here. This wheel here, and the wheels are limited in what they actually can provide as a custom button. I'd like to see it expanded a bit, but for this guy here, I also have that as my focus area. So I can pan through really quickly, and usually I just go 1 or 2 to the left or to the right to make it smaller if I need it. But that one is the only one that is locking. And then finally here, we've got our wheel here on the back, and that does count as a dial, I suppose. This is my shutter speed. So between my aperture and my shutter speed and my ISO, those are the things that I am using the most on this camera by far. And that is pretty much going to wrap up our custom buttons and our function menu. Let me know what you guys use in the comments, and if this was helpful, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Join the community, guys, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.